Howdy. Welcome to Practical Principles. This is Practical Prince. We're doing Talking Tarot today. Just want to apologize real quick to the people on Facebook. Looks like something happened on Monday, and Restream needed the connection refreshed or something to that effect. Why it didn't notify me sooner, or if it did, it didn't do it in an obvious way. I don't know. But yeah, that should be resolved for now. And there we go. Hey, Lavina. Yeah. Don't know what the connection issue was, so I'm not quite sure how to prevent it next time. But it is what it is. Doing well. How are you? Hey, Rada. Doing well. Yeah, so I don't know what the issue was with Facebook on Monday. Obviously, the post went out, and when I was streaming, I didn't see anything saying stuff was off. But afterwards, when I was setting stuff up for today, I noticed that it wanted me to refresh the Facebook connection. So I don't know if it was just poorly timed. Excellent. I don't know if it was just poorly timed, that the connection expired or something right when I was going live. I'm not sure. It's resolved now. Don't know how to prevent it in the future, though, so we'll see. But for now, things are working again. Yeah, we can ask about that. Let me go ahead and highlight. Oh, thanks. We're going to be using the Cosmo deck. Okay. Is that gone out of my body now? Yeah, I think we're just going to use the yes-no spread, even though we're using the Cosmo deck. So I'll go ahead and show that just for reference, but yeah, we're using a different deck. So give me 1 second. Let me get our cards. Let's see. Don't need to do that feedback loop. Yeah, that should be fine. Because we're really just after the yes now. So we've got our cards. We've got the bridge. Oh, I might have to check what that is. I'm pretty sure that's normally the moon. 3 of Embers and the Mystic. Ooh, I want to say Queen of Wands, but let me set this down and just double check to make sure what those are so I can line them up with the guide. So yeah, bridge is the moon, 3 of embers would be wands, and then mystic, queen of wands, yeah. Okay. So let's see, we've got 3 and queen of wands. Those seem to be yes cards, and then we got the moon, that's a no. So this would be the 2 yeses and a no. Sounds like it's doing the right thing. I don't know if it just needs more time for it to finish flushing out or something like that. But you've definitely gotten rid of a good chunk of it, and it's on the way out. So yeah, I wouldn't know if you need more follow up. But yeah, I'm thinking you're good, and it's just a matter of time before it's fully removed itself. So, mostly I'm looking at the cards we got. With the bridge being the moon and the illusory nature of that, I'm thinking that it might just be time. Let me check real quick on 3 of embers. The mystic is a pretty strong stand in your truth. Yeah. Looking ahead, expansion, rapid growth. Okay. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so the impression is it's working. You'll probably want more. Yeah, so probably another puja. Yeah. Because yeah, it's not all gone, and mostly the impression I got was, I mean, it. So if you didn't do it, it would probably be fine and work itself out. But as far as doing it, yes, you probably should, and it would be good for you. So that's that. Well, that's what we got there. As far as more after that, I don't know. I would probably. I'm guessing you would be done after that. But okay, no problem. And then Rada has 2 questions. Let me go ahead and set that aside. Okay. Okay. And that's fine. I'm guessing by then you'll be good. Of course, that's me speaking, not the tarot. So, um, but yeah, I don't imagine you would need much more, if anything. Um, well, I've been applying to a handful. Speaking to Rada, I don't have a job yet. I've done a few interviews. I know I've been rejected for some, but I wasn't too interested in those. Um, it's using skills I don't care to have. So, but yeah, I actually had a interview yesterday that seemed to go pretty well, and they've got pretty high demand, so that might be a good spot. But yeah, no job yet. But I'm guessing we're not too far away. And as far as answering your questions, we'll just do them in that order, starting with the social media career. Yeah. I mean, I planned on having time to actually lock down a job, so it's all good. I probably want to use that deck. Yep. Okay. Guidance. Okay. Hey, Luis. Okay. So 5 cards total, loosely tempered, normally tempered, and then just standalone. And I'll just go in the order that we got them. So sleeping ships, that's usually you need to take a break and consider where you're going. I'll spread these a little. And that's tempered by Karma. We'll read up on that, just because that's unique to this deck. This would normally be the Justice card. So, I mean, it's kind of that what you put out is what you get back in. But that's tempering this one, the sleeping ships, which would suggest taking a break to reflect and maybe be going a different direction. 6 of trees. I'm not as familiar with that one, so I'll have to read up on that. And then loosely tempered Ace of Lotuses. So normally the Ace of Chalices, and then loosely tempered by the 6 of Lotuses. I don't think I usually get a lot of 6s. Ace of Lotuses is good for beginnings, and just Chalices in general speaks to emotions more often than not. So an emotional start, not like in a bad way. Just that you have that drive, that push, that surge potentially. But we'll go through them. Yeah, cups or chalices. It would be the ace. Yeah. So let me go ahead and set that down. And we'll just do that in that order. So we'll start with the sleeping ships. So that's specific to this deck. Rest, inspiration, growth. We expect things only grow in an upwards trajectory, but this is not always the case. We search for inspiration, expecting it to be where we once found it. While some parts of your inspiration may feel like they are withering now, new inspiration will grow in the shadows. You'll plant seeds for future thoughts and future epiphanies, and you will grow and find new paths. These are the things we learn from sleeping ships. And that is the beauty of being human. We are always growing, even when we're resting. So yeah, it's just be open to different directions. Things will proceed, but not necessarily in the way you anticipated them previously. But again, this is tempered by Karma. We'll go ahead and read that one. So this is normally justice, honesty, restoring balance, ultimate truth. Karma is a card that asks for brutal honesty. It is easy to convince yourself that you have not wronged, but we all have. It is a part of being human. Don't be afraid to try and mend broken relationships. The actions you take now will ripple far into the future. On the other side of it, if you feel you have been wronged, karma will eventually restore balance. In the end, it is always the ultimate truth that is rewarded in kind. Be truthful with yourself. Others will be truthful with you. So, yeah. I guess the only concern there is the brutal honesty. Making sure that you're not oversimplifying and that you're seeing things for what they really are. And that's probably going to help you find those different paths that the sleeping ships is indicating. So that's speaking to direction. But let's find out what that 6 of trees is saying. That's the next one. Abundance, giving, gratitude. The harvest provides hope and comfort with the copious crop overflowing. This card appears when you have come into an excess of good fortune. Unlike the 4 of trees, this card represents the other side of greed, giving. Knowing the pain of the rot, you have the understanding needed to share your wealth with those less fortunate than you. Even if you do not have an abundance, have gratitude for what you do have. Your generosity and kindness will come back tenfold and be the roots of many happy memories to follow. I think the strongest thing there is an abundance mentality. I mean, there's the gratitude and giving. But yeah, the thing standing out for me is abundance mentality. And you can look that up. I'm guessing you're already familiar with it. So I'll go on to the Ace of Lotuses. Thanks. So yeah, Ace of Chalices, Ace of Cups. New feelings, emotional surplus, intuition. The wellspring offers an infinite source of emotion as it cleanses everything around it, allowing space for new feelings to grow. Drink from the flowing gold. It will nourish your spirit. When this card comes up in a reading, it is a sign that you are about to embark on a new emotional journey. Embrace this. Do not find fear in new emotions, but rather adventure. It is sure to provide a sense of rejuvenation. So, and that's, I mean, there's a similarity to the abundance cycle, or sorry, the abundance mentality. How you approach things and your attitude essentially towards life and what happens can have a big difference. Not just how you react mentally or spiritually, but like physiologically, they've shown that it can change how you react. So really an emphasis on that. I mean, there's the newness coming in, and with that new, there's uncertainty as it talks to, but really it's nothing to be scared of. And like it said, stuff to be excited about. And this was only loosely tempered by Six of Lotuses. Let me get that real quick. Familiarity, happy memories, healing. When this card shows up, it signifies an opportunity to rise above the challenge. While some of the lotuses may seem to be drowning, the one that has persevered remains. Not all is lost. This is a time to heal what wounds you can and reflect on the happy memories. Even if a situation has been soured by unfortunate events, there were still aspects that you can cherish. Perhaps things have turned out this way so that you may grow from this experience and move forward a greater being. Yeah, and where this is loosely touching on it, really I'm just the opportunity to rise above the challenge is what's sticking out to me. There's the new stuff coming with the Ace of Lotuses, and really you'll be able to handle it. So, yeah, I'm curious what the new directions you'd get from the sleeping ships, but overall things seem to go well. So, and of course, that's stuff for us to find out in the future. So, let me go ahead and let's see, energy check. Rish and you. Gotta figure out if I want to use Cosma, because I do like that for energy. But it is a relationship. So. Nice. Yeah, I haven't figured out how I would do TikTok. And it might just be because my stuff doesn't necessarily clip well. Hard to get a short segment that works real well. But yeah, I should probably check out what your social media actually is. Because yeah, sounds like it's going well. But of course, those are details I don't actually need to know. So yeah, I am. I'm on a lot of them. The video description should have a link tree this time. I'm sort of all over the place, but yeah, Instagram is one of them. And I think, gosh, I mean, initially when I was setting stuff up, I was trying to do practical principles. But I think in the end, just because of the character limits, um, a bunch of almost everything is practical prints. So you can probably find me using that. Or the link tree. I should probably, well, I should check afterwards. Let me not get too distracted. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff like that work out pretty well, so it's good, and it's probably enjoyable. Oh, well, nah. If you need to learn it, you'll learn it. So. Yeah, I'm still feeling more Cosmo than Destiny. Okay. And you can go ahead and, I don't know if it does friends. I feel like they might just do following on Instagram. Fiza, let me finish answering Radha's questions, and then we'll answer yours. Or I guess she's only got one left. So, and I'm still shuffling. I don't need to. Energy check, Risha, and you. Okay. I only got one card, and I'm not getting a strong feeling for Rish or you. I mean, the impression I'm getting is that, oh, it's there. It sort of sums up the whole situation, or the whole energy, however you want to view that. 6 of birds. So I don't know if you can see it that well, but it's depicting planes, one of which is, well, seemingly crashing. So normally this would be 6 of swords. I'm not as familiar with that as I am the 8. So let me go ahead and check. I mean, even the 7 I've seen a few times at this point. Out of control, leaving behind, moving on. The wind plays no helping. Oh, sorry, I'm just remembering. Yes, I know what 6 of swords is. It's the one with the strong move on message, but let me get this one specifically. The wind plays no helping hand in this card. Rather, it is the reaper for the pilot. This can be a heavy card to have in your spread. It doesn't speak kindly to favor, and instead suggests that sometimes your own fate is simply out of your control. When you find yourself in an uncontrollable situation, try to move through the transition with as much composure as you can. Trust that the universe will work things out. So, yeah, other interpretations will basically say this is move on. This one isn't as strong on that. Really, it's setting stuff aside. So, yeah. I mean, really, the thing to get out of here is the trust that the universe will work things out. So, yeah. Yeah. Um, for clarifying it, I feel like it would normally come out tempered, but let me see. Okay. Yeah. You can get some clarity. Okay. So our clarifying card, 8 of Lotuses. Oh gosh, I know I've read this one before. I've at least pulled it multiple times. Let me go ahead and get the description. Walking away, illusionment, leaving behind. The presence of these ruins asks you to move on from something that has long since moved on from you. It can take time to realize something has ended, especially when it is not something you have come to rely on anymore. I think they mistyped there, because I think it is you're still relying on it, but this is not a difficult leaving behind, but more of a decluttering. There is no need to hold on to the extra weight. You'll find simplifying your life will cause the disillusionment of dissatisfaction to fade away. Allow time to mourn the loss, but find strength to walk away when something is not meant for you. Be like the whale and swim wistfully away. I mean, both of these cards have very similar meanings. I think the strong thing there is decluttering. Yeah, I think you've just been too. Oh, it would normally be cups. So 8 of cups. Um, yeah. Because I know given previous stuff, we're not necessarily walking away from Rish. So I'm guessing maybe you've just been too focused on him. And maybe need to set that aside, let that go. That's my best guess. Well, I don't know that it's a guess. I can see the cards, but yeah. You're probably just too focused on him. So, yeah, I would try to set it aside for now. Uh, yes, 5. Oh, I can set that down. So, no problem. Faiza, it is your turn. This is still the question, right? Well, I guess I just want to. Yeah. And I'll do that, Lavina. That'll just be after FISA. Um, oh, sorry. Did I not respond right then? Yeah, I can answer your next question. It would just be after FISA here because she had dropped that in. So, yeah, go ahead and pop that in. Louise had popped in, but she's just listening while she's doing stuff right now. So, yeah, you would be right after her. When will I conceive? I mean, I don't usually get a solid. Well, I can get a range in time sometimes, but as far as like specifics, um, we'll probably need to talk about that, Lavina. But okay. But so back on FISA, when will I conceive? We're using just. I guess. I mean, you've asked the question about conceiving, but do you want to elaborate on why you're depressed? Yeah. I assume it's just been difficult to conceive. Is that the issue? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let me go ahead and see what answer I get. Just so you know, it takes me a while to pick the cards. So. Okay. Well, I don't know the outcome. Just trying to make sense, and you guys can go ahead and keep chatting. And obviously, this will be on the video if you need to come back. I can get these two cards first, and then this is a follow-up. So this is speaking to one thing, and this will, I don't know if it's naturally answer to a follow-up question. I'm not getting a strong sense of time. So as far as like what card would correspond to like years, months, or something like that. So I'm assuming it's going to be more obvious once we flip. That's still there. Okay. So we've got the Magician. That's great. And then we've got Seven of Pentacles. Okay. The Magician is one of, I don't know if other people put it that way, but, and we can check the guide, but the Magician has the ability and has the resources to manifest. So the fact that you want to have a child and you're getting this card, like the strong impression is that you'll be able to have a child. The Seven of Pentacles. I mean, the keywords here are anticipation and potential, but that's not really helping us get time frame. I mean, obviously with a child, you've got a lot of both of those, anticipation and potential, but yeah, let me read up on that one. And given that this is supposed to be a follow-up, let me do the read on that card first, and then we can come back to that. And this guide is digital, so I'll be able to share that. Seven of Pentacles. Oh, no, I'm gonna highlight the whole thing. There we go. Oh, no, go back. Symbolizes the rewards and satisfaction that come through hard work. Excuse me. When you plant the seeds of a creation with potential, care, and nourishment, rewards come through. Be patient and keep your focus. The 6 coins that form a circle represent what must be for the future, while the single coin in the center represents the disposable income. This is a small reward for now, but there is more to come, provided you keep working diligently. As long as you keep your dedication, the success will come. Sometimes the ultimate reward is in the journey itself. So, yeah. I mean, that's very similar in being able to manifest. I mean, this speaks more to the long term, that you put in the stuff now and then eventually you reap the rewards. But I mean, the rewards do come. So, yeah. Neither of these really spoke to timeline. More just confirming the fact that It can, and I mean, assuming you want to, which is a given, I think, it will happen. So, um, yeah, let me go ahead and flip that other card, the follow-up. The Star, which is also very positive. Hope, guidance. I mean, we'll go ahead and read um, we'll read the description for this, but I mean, the Star is a very hope-filled card. So, oh, let me go ahead and set this down and show that one instead. The Star is the embodiment of hope and guidance. This card is a powerful message of renewal, optimism, and inspiration. When the star comes up in a reading, you are reminded that this amazing universe is working in your favor. You are encouraged to appreciate everything that life has to offer, including better physical and spiritual well-being. The star allows you to shine your light in your projects, your relationships, and your work and finances. This card shows up at the right moment as a reminder to have faith in the direction you are guided, and to have faith that dreams do come true. So yeah, I think basically you've got the answer, and yes, you can and will have children, and that the star is really just confirming, don't worry, keep putting in your effort, yes, but trust that it's going to happen. Yeah. So it's not specific on timeline, so I don't know how anxious you are. That might be a little hard to endure, but as far as I can tell, it's a sure thing. You're welcome. And Lavina. Oh, it's fine. I mean, occasionally there will be those people who just pop in and they're like, other person, DM me. And I assume that that person just doesn't have good intentions. But you're a regular and you're learning the craft. So by all means, go ahead and help where you can. As far as, because we're back to you, I don't think, yeah. Da, 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 da. And it's not too interrupting. I mean, they'll always have the video to come back to. So no worries about chatting. Okay. We do want our camera back at some point. Admittedly, we probably don't need it right now because there's a lot in this question. So I guess here's what I'm seeing. That basically everything works out and it's wonderful and it's essentially nirvana in the second marriage. That's what you're asking about. And that seems like a bit much. Not to say that isn't something to strive for. But I guess the implication is that once it happens, that kicks in. And I'm Like it might eventually get there, but that's not to say that you wouldn't have hardships along the way. So, yeah, go ahead. If you have specific confusion, let's speak to that. Um, sorry. Um, I guess it's the timing that I'm worried about. Because because if your question is once we get married, is everything wonderful right then and there? Answer is probably no. I don't know that we even need to ask about that. But will it lead to that? Um, and like there's any number of ways to break this down, and a lot of ways to go about this. Um, well, I mean, and you're speaking to a lot of aspects. So, um, because there's I don't want him to think that he chose the wrong person or that I forced him to. Like we could ask a question just on that. But then there's also will this marriage, and specifically this marriage, the second one, be the marriage to end all marriages? And it could be that this is a essential thing to get onto whatever the final marriage is. So, I mean, there's a lot of aspects here. And I guess, yeah, there's that. But I mean, like, and it's not that simple because, yes, you do want to marry. That's just, um, you do want to get married at some point. More specifically, it would be, is this the person I should marry? And then I guess the follow up would be, is this the person I end up with? Which I don't know that we want to ask because it could be that you need to be with this person to end up with the right person. So, um, mm, um, basically, you could ask if this is the right next step for you. Is that the right way to go about it, though? Um, yeah, I'm having trouble framing it. Let me go ahead and sense with the cards. I might be able to figure out. Well, yeah. I mean, if I can figure out exactly what the card is speaking to, we'll know what answers we can get, I guess, from that. Um, right. But I think you're implying, um, like, if the higher power says you should get married, this won't be your last marriage and you need this experience. Like, I can see that being a totally valid answer. And I think what you're implying is that you marry this guy and it works out. So that's where the nuance and how complicated it can get might be a problem. Um, okay. Okay. Um, okay. So that helps. That reframes it. Okay. Okay. Let me ask the cards. Or well, my higher power. Um, yeah. I'm just not sure how this will lay itself out. I mean, Destiny is still the right deck. But, okay. Sorry about that. All good. Let me move this. Oh, Yeah, we've been talking about her question. It's it's complicated. Sorry, every now and then I check the chat to make sure I'm keeping up, and Luis is just funny now and then. Um, yes. Sorry, it was a lot of cards. And I think I understand what's going on. Let's go ahead and get this up. And yeah, so a lot of tempered pairs. This one's loosely tempered. The rest, it's a fairly tight coupling. This, I'm getting the sense, is your progression through life. Good relationship, not so good. So hopefully that's short. And then good relationship. And then down here, you probably can't see it. This card was an aside. So that's, well, speaking not to the question, but to you. So, yeah, we'll go through. I don't know that it speaks to, yeah, sorry. You're asking specifically about marriage. I don't know that these are marriages per se. I only got the impression that they were relationships. So is this someone you marry? Maybe. Is this someone you marry? I'm guessing so, given they're the last one, but we'll have to get there. Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. So as far as, yeah, let's just start with your progression. And then we'll go to the relationships afterwards, and then we'll get the aside. So just a lot to talk about and go over. So starting with the magician. Thanks. So magician, I mean, this came up earlier. You have the resources and capability to manifest. What it is you're going to manifest, I don't know. This is, again, your personal track. So you'll know the nuance of that better than me. But that's where you are or where you're going to be very soon. Let's get to the next tempered pair. 8 of Swords. So that's usually self-entrapment, mental entrapment. You're in your own head. Tempered by Goddess Joya. I'll have to... Oh, there's only so much room. Well, I'll just zoom in now because I don't know that there's space to really spread them out like I otherwise would. So I'll just have to remember that. So it's interesting that that's tempering this one. This one's dealing with mental entrapment. You're in your own head for the most part, which can make sense. I mean, you've been doing a whole lot of manifesting, and a lot of what you're doing actualizes. But then with that power, yeah, you can sort of get caught up figuring things out, laying foundations for things, and then, well, it comes back in a sense, and you can internalize it. So there's that. I'll need to double check Goddess Joya, just because I don't pull that card as much. So we'll get into that. But let me at least finish the progression. So we've got Page of Pentacles, so visionary, good news. You've broken free, and you know your path. This is tempered by justice. And so the notes there are balance, truth. This is karma in the Cosmo deck. The you reap what you sow sort of thing. So you'll be, the plans you're laying here, I mean, they're going to be limited somewhat by what you've done before, and they'll be blessed. Well, their outcomes will be blessed by what you're able to put in then. So and then, yeah, let me know if we need to read on those, but we've got a lot of cards. We go on to the Ace of Cups, and you'll note beginnings and love. I don't know if you can see that as clearly, but yeah, this was promising for start of a relationship or, well, something lasting. Eternity would be a question, but then the end, If I can get it up. We've got the Empress, abundance, creativity, really connecting with the divine feminine. So, yeah, I mean, embracing, well, the female archetype in a sense, which makes sense, especially if you get, married and become a mother. So, yeah, it's interesting we didn't get a relationship in between here. That's sort of where I would expect it, but maybe this leads into it somehow. Let me go ahead and set this down. I think the only thing I really need to check is the goddess Joya and how she's going to temper the Eight of Swords. Let me do, because otherwise it doesn't do so good on the search. There we go. Life Path 22 is a card that symbolizes the Master Manifester or the Master Builder. When you receive this card in a reading, the message is clear that in whatever you are working on, you must be an inspirational presence. This card is very powerful in a reading because it talks about your impact in whatever you are seeking. This card shows up to remind you that you have an enhanced ability to apply your spiritual understanding to your life. You are a visionary. You will have the ability to make it happen, to turn the dreams into a reality, and to build whatever structures are necessary to create the success you are striving for. Yeah, so that's almost a continuation of the Magician. So it's interesting that that's tempering the Eight of Swords. I mean, you'll frankly be able to break yourself out. The things that need to be replaced, redone, you'll be able to make the new systems that help you forward instead of holding you back. So, yeah, and then that leads in perfectly to the visionary and good news of the Page of Pentacles, tempered, of course, by the justice, the balance there, the karmic effect. Okay. No problem. I think we've got all of those cards at this point. So let me, if you have specifics you want to dive into, let me know. But otherwise, we'll move on to the relationships. So starting up here, we have Ace of Pentacles, prosperity and beginnings, tempered with Wheel of Fortune. Fate and change are the notes there. Interesting. Let me see if I can get a better sense for that. I mean, so basically someone well-to-do, but with the Wheel of Fortune, it's not, whimsy is too wish-washy of a word, but there's sort of a coming and going with this person. So I'm just not exactly sure how long they'll linger or how they'll show up, whether it's like spurts every now and then, or if it's they're there for a season, so to speak, and then they're gone. That part I'm not quite sure on. But a benevolent influence, a positive impact. But yeah, that Wheel of Fortune eventually cranks away and they go away at some point. Or they go to their place. I guess they don't, would they? Yeah. I mean, they might still be in your life, but as far as the relationship goes, they would go away. They would go off the table, basically. Down to this one, also tempered. Three of Swords, sorrow and obstacles are the notes there. No wonder this is short-lived. as well as Six of Cups is the tempering thing, reconcile and harmony. Oh, sorry. So just with the Wheel of Fortune, there's the theme with that is cycles and change. And so the way that, because this is part of the person and how they manifest, how they appear in your life. So the thing I'm struggling with is this a person that you'll see randomly once a month or something like that, and you'll go have an adventure and it's fun and great. But then eventually adventures are over for whatever reason. You decide you're done with that, or maybe he gets bored. That's sort of one way I could see this manifesting. The other way is, well, you scale it up really. They're there for a season, not literally a season. They might be there for months, a steady relationship, 3-4 months, maybe a little longer. But then you guys, whether mutually or unilaterally, decide it's over, that it's come to an end, that this pairing isn't necessarily for you. Good person, well-to-do, but not necessarily the right match for each other. Does that make sense, Lavina? Did that? I hope that I explained that better. Okay. We'll move on to this other one. Because, yeah, this is the one that'll hurt. So, I mean, we've got 3 of Swords, sorrow and obstacles, tempered by the 6 of Cups with the reconcile and the harmony. I think I want to read to make sure I get this one right. But it almost seems like this person's going to be more grief than they're worth, even though I guess it could be them. I'm not sure if it's you or the other person who's seeking the harmony and the reconciliation. Because it's really this that's going to keep you guys together for who knows how long. That doesn't get rid of the 3 of Swords. And eventually you'll realize what it is for what it is. But I want to double check those cards to make sure we get that right. On to this one. We've got 3 of Cups, celebration, abundance. So very positive person. And then loosely tempered, we've got the Hermit. Solitude and wisdom are the notes there. So they might be aloof, not exactly the right word. They probably just have an introverted tendency. Yeah. But yeah, very positive there. And we can read that if you'd like, but really I think the only thing I'm uncertain is the interplay of the 3 of Swords and the 6 of Cups. So let me go ahead and set this down. So share the guide. 3 of Swords. This card has a very direct representation, which is the pain of truth. This is a moment to face reality. This card shows up when there has been a betrayal of trust in a friendship or relationship, or in a work matter. The positive side of this card tells you that you have gotten to the heart of the matter. The disillusionment is gone. The rays in the background indicate that it is time to begin the healing process. And in reading this card asks you to take care of the heart, safeguard your emotional and physical well-being. Allow your emotions to come through so that you can start the process of growth and healing. So, I mean, pain of truth and being forced to confront reality, that makes sense. That person is who they are. That doesn't change. Let's get the Six of Cups, though. It's this interplay that we need to understand. So this is the tempering influence. A card of nostalgia and happy memories. It is often associated with fond childhood days. This card shows up when what you feel is lost will be rescued. This is a time for good things coming from the past, reconnecting with past friends and loved ones, reunions, and even going back to a place where happy memories were created. This card is about compassion and kindness. Your situation is improving and happy times are coming your way. The magic lies in the present moment. I mean, you could look at these as holistically, like this experience with them hurts and you've learned from it. I get the sense that this is more of the day-to-day sort of thing, that you're going to recurringly have these conflicts. And yeah, whether it's you or the other person who's trying to bring it back to the beginning when things were working out well, and keeps it going, for better or worse. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure how long that'll last until someone wises up. This is largely future. Yeah, I mean this. Well, I guess let me show. Largely future. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it's really past. I mean, the Magician to here with the Eight of Swords and Joya. This might be like a current transition you're in. Maybe. You could still be starting here and working through. At most, you would be this way through, because this is largely future. This person may already be in your life. The Ace of Pentacles with the Wheel of Fortune. Didn't think of it that way. Sorry. Olivia, so yeah, you might already be hitting these phases. Yeah, elements of those are probably coming into play now, but this is largely future. So yeah, the Magician might already be in effect. Probably is. If not, you're coming into it. But yeah, you're definitely in this area already. Okay. And then let me go ahead and flip this side note. 10 of Swords, endings and change. Oh, sorry. I set that off to the side. Yeah, I mean, let me go ahead and read the card, because I think you're going to know specifically what this is speaking to, since this is a direct message. But there is an ending at hand. It may be painful, but there is a new day ahead. This card symbolizes the final hours of the night, just before dawn, and the culmination of events which may have occurred leads to an inevitable change. This ending clears the path for new possibilities to emerge. The configuration of the Ten of Swords is in this illustration represents completeness and perfection. This ending of an era allows you to release old thoughts and allow for forgiveness. Move forward as this chapter closes. So yeah, that was a direct message. I mean, there's something to put behind you, basically. It's probably over in a sense, and you just need to let that chapter completely close. But yeah, it's similar to a death card. Yeah. It's not necessarily a transformation. I mean, in as much as you've gone through the journey, there's been a change. More so, whatever that thing was is done now. And the fact that we're on to something else, that is the change. I don't know that there's necessarily a personal transformation with that. I mean, this journey that we just went through is what already changed you to some effect. But yeah, we're now done with that, and that book can be put away so that a new one can start. I mean, because really, it's to continue the book analogy. You're cluttering the reading space at that point with a book that you're really done with. So might as well put it back on the shelf. So yeah, there's not necessarily a transformation. I mean, you may already be done with the transformation, but we're on to a new thing. I mean, this wasn't speaking to your question. This was speaking to you. And so you know what part of your life you're in and what has ended and is done with. It's, yeah, as close as how it could relate. It would be a clearing of the slate. We're done with the old stuff. We're on to this new book, this new chapter. So, yeah, the past is in the past. And we're done with that. We've learned our lessons there. We've changed. There is a change coming, and we no longer need to focus on the old stuff. Overall understanding, I mean, I think we got it pretty well. As far as like, I guess one thing I didn't do was the interplay. I mean, because we had your personal journey and then the relationships. So, I mean, you've got this positive person now. There's the Eight of Swords. So it makes sense that we get this person with Three of Swords when you're sort of at a weak point. And so, but I mean, you've got Joya and the Magician. You'll be able to work through that and work that out. I honestly, like this relationship, it could be a matter of weeks. I mean, it could be longer, but I don't really expect this one to go too long. Yeah. As far as the Three of Cups, I mean, with the Hermit, it makes sense then that the Ace of Cups follows afterwards. Because it'll take some time. Oh, let me focus over there. Because I mean, you've got this very positive person coming in, but they've got their introverted tendencies. So it makes sense that you're getting the Ace of Cups afterwards, because that's when the relationship, as far as romantically, would really begin. And then moving into the Mother archetype with the Empress. um, and a family, basically. Um, Overall, um, I mean, as far as the end, um, and then initially you were asking about those different aspects, like spiritually, you'll be doing fine. Emotionally, I mean, you'll have the um, yeah. I mean, the fact that you want marriage is basically what's going to indicate a yes. If you were a person who didn't care for that tradition, if you want to view it that way, then this is probably someone you would be living with, cohabitating. But where that's something you want, yeah, eventually there's a marriage. Um, I don't necessarily know if, yeah, given what I know of you, you probably don't marry this person. I mean, obviously, stuff doesn't work out here well enough for that to happen. Um, this person, it takes a while to get there. Um, but most likely, because you want it, yeah, that would be a marriage when you get to Ace of Cups. And then motherhood with the Empress. As far as any other notes or takeaways, yeah, I mean, usually I have more caution for the Eight of Swords, but between the Magician and Goddess Joya, and then the Page of Pentacles, like this part isn't fun per se, but I don't see you having any trouble working through that. Um, that's where we slip in the Three of Swords and those experiences. Um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, this almost feels like, I mean, there's more, but there's just a little polishing before eventually we get to where we want to be. So the win, I'm not sure about. Just like with this Wheel of Fortune person on the timing, like I don't know if they're in and out or if they're there for a while, if they're there for a season. Um, Let me see. Yeah, I mean, this guy has a very short period. Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. This guy has a short period. It doesn't seem that long, though. Yeah, I'm sort of, the impression I'm getting is 3 to 5 years. Fuzzy on the five. I don't think we would be getting the six, though. So, and I think it's just a matter of how these things play out. Because in and out, who knows how long that takes. This guy, I mean, you could do it the hard way, where it takes months, maybe even a whole year, but it seems less likely. And then this guy, just because of his introverted tendencies, like there's going to be some time involved there. So, as far as hitting this point in the marriage, yeah, that's closer to 5 years probably. I mean, you'll know this guy sooner than that. And so, in a sense, that'll happen earlier. But yeah, I mean, I know it's not on the scale of a decade, but I'm pretty sure we're not looking at months either. No, either. Um, yeah, yeah, and I don't know. Um, I don't really know that there's a way to expedite that. I mean, you're aware of the Eight of Swords. You're now aware of the Three of Swords person and the dangers you could have there. Yeah. So on that, um, I mean, both the Empress as well as this person who presumably is the one you're marrying, they both have abundance on their notes. So financially, I think you're just fine. Emotionally, where this person is also celebration and whatnot, and you've got creativity here on the Empress, I think you'll, I think you'll be pretty fulfilled there too. There's the issue with family and just how children can sometimes burn you out. That's probably more physical than emotional, though. Um, so there's that. Um, Spiritually, it already seems like you're in the right place or you've got the right mindset. You've got the Magician, Goddess Joya, Page of Pentacles. So spiritually, I think you're on the right note. Um, you'll have some hardship here. So emotionally, things stabilize furthermore at the later point. Um, and then there was a fourth, right? Mentally. Oh, that's probably where children is more of an issue. Not, did I touch on that? Oh, emotionally. Um, I don't know that we have much that touches on mentally. Um, yeah, mentally, I didn't really. We don't really have an answer here. So, I mean, the Eight of Swords, that is a mental hardship, but you overcome that. Yeah, and I think you're fine on the spiritual front. Yeah, frankly, everything else seems to be cared for spiritually, financially, and emotionally. So, yeah, it doesn't really speak to the mental side, but I don't see that being such a downer that things aren't for the better. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we wanted to dig into? Yeah, that is true. Oh, I'm glad it was good. Oh. Um, yeah. I mean, if you continue your spiritual journey, I'm sure you'll approach something similar. So I wouldn't be too jealous because I'm pretty sure you're on track. I guess. Thank you. Thank you. All good. Fiza, if you're still on, um, did you have a question? We answered one earlier. Um, but sounded like maybe you had another. So, um, and I'm not convinced she's online. So, Luis, what kind of reading would you like? Well, I mean, even in the reading, we've figured out that you're already pretty well positioned. So, probably just comes naturally for me. um, okay. Well, let me see what, if anything, there is to do then. Let me see. Oh, so that was the Destiny deck. So yeah, that was the Destiny deck. That's by, I want to say it's Elisa Santine. I'm not sure of the last name though, so I'll put that in question marks. Did not go to Twitch, but it doesn't pop up in there. Let me get the author's name real quick, or maybe start with the first page. Do we have an author? Oh, we have an about. Let's see. Let me skip over to that. Yeah, so it's Elisa Santine. I mean, since this one has a digital guide, I can go ahead and share stuff. So this is the author. Her name is Lisa Santine. I know she has a Kickstarter. Well, is it still going on? She had a Kickstarter, at least for new decks. That might be over at this point. But she's the one who created the Destiny deck. And then just to stick it big on the, oops, not that one, this one, big on the video, Destiny deck was the particular deck from her that I was using. It's the only one right now. As far as learning it, almost any deck you get will, or at least any deck I've gotten so far, has a guide with it. So this one's digital, which is how I'm able to share it. But all of mine have guides with them, even if they're just pocket guides. So as far as self-learning, you would be able to do that. I don't know that there's really classes for it, because a good part is just learning the cards, which you can do through the guide. So really, I would probably just practice it, doing readings for yourself, for friends or family, whoever you want, just for familiarity. I mean, that's essentially what I've done here with the streaming, because it's not like I did readings really before I was streaming. But just over time, I've gotten acquainted with the cards. So yeah, unless you really work well and really work well in a class, I wouldn't bother paying for something like that. Just as you have time and want to, I would do reads to learn. And then trying to figure out what to highlight for Louise for her reading. Probably this one. I guess explain, can you clarify or rephrase this? Oh, well, so, I mean, in my case, I believe in a higher power. Different things. So the premise of my tarot is that there's a higher power, and that they're willing to answer your questions through me. So sometimes, like when I pause, when I'm trying to sense something, I'm trying to commune with them for clarity. Sometimes I have my own, like, I understood it this way, and that's how it is. But like clarifying on what was present versus what was future in yours. That was sensing that from them. As far as how to do a spread, I don't know that there's really a guide. I mean, what I do, you wouldn't learn in a book. Guides will sometimes include samples of readings. I mean, the most common thing to do is to just lay 3 cards. Let me go ahead and turn this on. I've switched to the Prisma because that's what we're going to be using for Louise. Let me get this deck open. I just need some of the cards. So the most common basic one you'll find is just 3 cards being used. And it's fine using stuff like this while you're practicing. Some people will be like past, present, future. Sometimes it's like context, the background, the current situation, and then outcome. Sometimes it's them, you, the relationship outcome. Really, you define what the different things mean when you're doing the spread. For a while, I had a number of relationship ones where it was like, this is the relationship, intentions or feelings. I mean, that would be the gist of it. So 4 cards. And they may or may not be interested in flipping themselves. Sometimes I'll get intentions separate from feelings toward the person. Sometimes I'll have an influence in the prospect's life. And I even had it come on the bottom once or twice. So, and then sometimes it's this, and this is intentions, and then this is feelings toward. So the head versus the heart. And nowadays, a lot of the times, I don't even get these placeholder ones. Like, I would just flip these 2, and this one's there to represent the person. But nowadays, I'll frequently just get stuff like this, where it's like intentions towards you, feelings towards you, influence in their life. And for whatever reason, I don't get the person, which is fair and fine. I mean, I know what would be there. And it's not like we would flip that card if it was there, unless it was of interest to the person. Like if we wanted to know if it was a good match or a good partner, like then like who they are as a person, that's relevant. But a lot of people, when they're asking just feelings or intentions, it's not actually the person themselves that they're asking about. So it's this middle area, so to speak. But yeah, when sometimes the question lends itself to yes or no. And for that, I like the Destiny deck. It's got that guide. Some people will flip a single card, and then based on that, they'll be like yes, no. So the Lovers positive, that would be a yes. For example, that's when people ask for a single card. That's usually the sort of thing they ask for. But I don't usually do that. Usually, I end up using the spread because that feels better. But then I feel like there's more to answer your question. But yeah, when I'm pulling cards, I'm sensing which ones are involved in the spread. And sometimes I pull them first and then I figure out where they are placed. Like with yours, they were just spread out here. And I sort of had the pairs sometimes, but then it was a matter of that goes there, this is up here, these are in a line. And then I double check before I go back to you. But I'm communing and figuring out what do these different elements mean. So that's my process, at least, and methodology. Depending on your higher power, like I believe in one that can speak very personally to me. If you don't believe in one that is that personal, then maybe that's more difficult and you'll have to do specific things. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question, Lavina. Let me go ahead and set this down. We don't need that anymore. Excellent. Okay. Um, um, Sorry, I guess Louise asked her question first, speaking to Judy. Um, so normally I would answer her first and then um, answer your question. Um, but Louise also likes to, well, hang out, I guess, if that's the right thing to do. Thanks, Lavina. Um, okay, see you then. Um, I guess, Luis, are you on? Well, I mean, it would normally be your turn. Um, but I know you've postponed before, so I'm just getting a feel for. Okay. Um, Let me go ahead and read for Luis then, and then I'll answer your question, Judy. I get the feeling that there's more, but this is enough for now, and it's just one card. So let's go ahead and flip Six of Pentacles. There's a partnership going on there, a collaboration, building something. But yeah, I'm going to have to. I've seen the 7 and the 8 more than I've seen the Six of Pentacles. So let me set this aside. Get that. Excess generosity, paying it forward. After many struggles and painful learning experiences, life has granted you the luxury of excess. When this happens, don't be greedy and keep the wealth to yourself. Give freely, never forgetting your own hard times that have brought you to this day. Alternatively, if you are in need of charity, don't be too proud to receive it. Often life will restore its equilibrium without your consent when you are least prepared. Therefore, if you find someone willing to tip the scale back in your favor, don't hesitate. You will pay back the debt in full when you're better off. So, yeah, that's the note for today. Yeah. So, generosity, paying it forward. Focus on generosity, though. So, at least that's the one that seems applicable to you. Okay. Yeah, pretty short one, but that's the next step. So, Judy, let me highlight that. Thanks, Luis. Sleep well. Okay. Let me see, Judy. Person might actually be the right one. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Turn home. Is he safe? Where to find him? Okay. 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 So speaking to Judy on the cat question, I got these two for the status of the cat, as far as like their condition. They both have their place and they're relevant. Down here, the impression was markers on the path to find the cat or to locate the cat. There is this blank space here going left to right. So I'm not sure if some time needs to pass. I'm worried this will be a wait card, but you might not handle that so well. But that is what it is. But let's start with the condition. So the Magician, the Manifestor, and the Four of Wands. I'll need to read up on that. I don't get that too much. But yeah, the Magician is capable and resourceful, and they have the ability to manifest what they need. So it would seem that the cat isn't lacking for want. I gotta set this down so I can pull up the book. Let's see what the Four of Wands has to say. Celebration, peace, family. This card is the first milestone in the journey of the Wands. Everything is coming together nicely. And while things are supporting themselves, take this time to enjoy the success of what you have wrought so far. This is a time of great peace and contentment. It may include family or a landmark in your life celebrated by ceremony. At the very core, it is happiness, one of those rare times when life is going your way, and you're aware enough to appreciate it. So yeah, things seem fine. The cat seems to be okay. And now onto the path on locating it. Four of Chalices. So there's a disconnect. Apathy is one of the strong themes of this card. Yeah. As far as how you would see that, oh, that's probably your current state, huh? There's a bit of disconnectedness just because you're so distraught over this. We'll read up on that and the advice the book has. But it suggests that this is going to be some time, given that we got the empty space here. Afterwards, we've got Justice. It's very karmic. There's a balancing. So that doesn't necessarily mean the cat is restored. But an equilibrium of some sort is restored. I don't necessarily know that means the cat. And then strength. Yeah. Yeah, I'll read up on these three. But at first blush, I don't think you find the cat. You have this, well, in a sense, an anger at the loss of this cat. And you seem to stew in that for a while. But eventually, you return to a normal and a new balance. And you pick up some strength to help carry you forward. So, yeah. I'll read just in case I get something else, but I don't know that the cat's coming back. So, if anything, this will seems to indicate you'll be developing as a person. Might not be what you want, but it's what you get. Overindulgence, loss of excitement, apathy. Speaking of the Four of Chalices. Life, for all its splendor, will sometimes lose its taste. This is most often a sign of overindulgence. Inundating yourself with some fascination will deaden your senses to its unique charms and flavors. If you find yourself growing apathetic to a steady routine, stir things up within yourself. Resist the urge to settle. Though it may seem like a mighty effort, force yourself to be creative and original. Imbibe of the stream of life. Let me read the others. There might be something. Cause and effect, balance, accountability. This card is a reminder that justice is coming. You can only get away with unscrupulous behavior for so long. Eventually, your motives will be found out, and there will be a swift retribution to follow. But do not fear. Being held accountable for your actions is how balance will be restored to the universe. It's time to give back. Okay. And then we have strength. Empowerment, confidence, vitality. It's easy to slink away from a tough situation, but it takes real strength to surmount one's obstacles and press on. It is possible to be indomitable. By being resolute through difficult times and sustaining a strong, impenetrable core, you can forge on indefinitely, constantly renewing your horizons. Do not be afraid. Fear is the mind killer. You need only to believe yourself unconquerable for it to be so. Yeah. I mean, I could see an interpretation for continuing the search for the cat, basically. The advice from the Four of Chalices suggesting not to rest, mix it up, try new things. And then Justice saying, well, I mean, you'll only be able to keep that up for so long, whether or not the search ends successfully. But out of that, you get a strength. Yeah. I'm inclined to think that this is more your personal development. I don't know that you get the cat back in this scenario. In either one, really. Ending on strength, I mean, you develop a will to overcome hardship. Whether you continue trying to overcome it now by doing more posters or searching new spots, or by coming to terms with the loss, recognizing that there's more to life than just the cat. Yeah, there's different ways that could go about. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is your personal development that we're seeing here. And yeah, once you pick up that strength, the search is over because we've moved on. So yeah, it was just interesting to get the sense of markers to locate. Um, but yeah, I guess that's just the journey. Um, do you have a question about your granny as well? No problem. Um, I can try. So strictly speaking, I commune with a higher power. Um, so I don't necessarily commune directly with a spirit, your grandma. Um, but if they're basically willing to relay my higher power, if they're willing to relay a message, then yeah, we can get something. So, but yeah, just want to be clear that I'm not just a medium for any old spirit. It is one, and they might facilitate others. It's probably not this deck. Um, is it Cosmo? Yeah, we'll check with the Cosmo deck. I get the impression that they're. Um, Thanks. As far as your grandma, I get the impression there is a message, but that you're going to get it another way. So um, I don't know how that'll come, but it'll come in some way. Yeah, I'm not sure on the manner, or I guess even the timeline for that. But yeah. So I mean, sorry. That's all I have on that front. Um, no problem. Um, we're going to do a quick call for questions, I think. I mean, it's not a bad time to wrap up. Um, But if anybody wants a reading, well, now would be the time to speak up. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and sign off. So. And I'll give it some time because I know the relay can be slow. So, yeah. No problem. Sleep well. You need it for everything else as well. So, yeah. Take care. And I think we're going to sign off. So, thanks for tuning in. We're streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time. So 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I am searching for a job, so the timing and whatnot may change. If and when that happens, I'll let you guys know. I'm also going on vacation in a couple weeks, so we'll be skipping a few sessions then. And I'll let you guys know as that happens. We added a Linktree link to the description for the video, I think. So if you want to connect on social media or view some other way, I've set up streaming for a number of services, and then a number of you are on Facebook, but there's also Instagram. Well, I guess also Facebook has the social media. I do post for the readings. Regardless, if that's of interest, you can check that out. It's a bit lengthy, so I might fix it up at some point, but it is what it is. Till next time, hope you're doing well. And